just battling a lot of the inconsistencies. Driver is probably the main one. Rarely is it down the middle and then over hooking. It's they start left and either pull, or they start left and then hook even further left.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you've got three biggies that make you swing left. Ball forward, handle back, extension, hips back. So we just want to neutralize that. Ball more neutral, handle more neutral. Backswing, and then downswing, getting the hips forward as the club works more from inside out. The goal is to find a middle ground where your chest gets just behind your hips at the top. We'll show you a model, like a Robert Rock. So you want to feel the opposite of your issue to find middle. For Rob, we're feeling more this way behind the ball to help him swing more from low and inside for less pulls. And the drill you want to do is just like this. We've got a club in line with the golf ball. The club's kind of parallelish to the ground. And as Rob's going to push off the right foot, the hips push forward and the club feels like it releases just to the right. So from when you're watching this from the down the line angle, if this is the target line from your view, it should kind of feel like they look like the club is to the right of it. It won't actually be, but that's kind of the feel, right? And the hips are pushed forward. So ball position neutral, handle neutral. Awesome. Hips pushing forward. Yeah, dude. Beautiful. God, is that good. Okay, so with the driver, a lot of really good in there. You got plenty of speed, you got plenty of distance. For the direction control, I think our main priority is gonna be like not launching as far left. And so there's a couple things in each area of your swing, kind of one thing at the setup, one on the way back and one on the way down that lead to that. So we'd like to neutralize all three of those. But like net end of day, when you get a lot of balls that are pulls, that could turn into like a pull draw or a pull fade. From a club path perspective, that's always gonna be from the club head, working a little bit too far from out to in. So anytime you go play and you're like pull, 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 regardless of what comes after the pull, hook or fade, you got to be thinking, hey, my club path is probably a little too far out to in. And then why and how do I solve that? Okay. So there's kind of three things for you that lead to that. The first thing at the setup, the ball position's a little bit forward. It's kind of off the lead part of your shoulder with your stance being a little closed. So we were talking off camera about the ball position relative to your feet, and you could do it inside left heel, but like that, if you do it that way, it depends on stance width, it depends on where you're aiming, like changes where it is. So I like to do it relative to the upper body, and like underneath lead armpit would be a good place to live if we want neutral. Probably more back towards like shirt logo. And the second thing, let's show the lines on the screen. We saw the model, how his shaft was more in line with that ball line, and ours are a little bit more back. So when you guys are watching this, if you're getting pulls that turn into straight pulls or pull fades, the thing you want to look for is the ball being too forward with the handle being back. I see that a lot, right? So we're going to move the ball back about 1 inch from where you have it. We'll put that in line with your armpit, and we want to get the shaft even with it. So with the driver, it should be like 90 degrees up and down. The more back the handle is, the more you hit pulls to the left. This would be like neutral, straight up and down. And the more forward it is, you'd hit more like push, kind of push draw. So we're gonna find like a nice middle ground. It's gonna feel a little forward for you, which is kind of weird with the driver, you know? Yeah. But I'll show you on camera, it'll look perfect, but it'll feel a little forward. Backswing, a lot of really good in here. The only thing you have is you got a little bit too much extension, which is like if there was a laser in your shirt, your chest working up towards the sky a little too much. That's why the club gets long and across. Now that's really good for speed. I don't think we need to go nuts with changing that, but, and for you, if you're watching, the more that your chest goes up towards the sky, if I did it too much, it's hard for me to even do that. The more extension I have here, the more I want to go out and over the top. So if we pull up Rob in the model, we just want to get your point where the chest is about level to the ground. That's what we're shooting for. But because you're here, to get level, it might feel like you're kind of chest to the right and pointed down a little, right? And the last thing is that your hips stay back. So we can pull up Rob and the model, and we just had that line up from the golf ball, right? And we saw Robert Rock, when he comes through, has how his hips push forward of that. And how when you come through, you've got a lot of rotation, a lot of baseball in there, which is great, but the hips stay too far back. Now, why does that matter? The more your hips push forward as they turn, the more the club, that helps the club work from inside. Okay. The more your hips stay back and they just turn with no push forward, that makes you swing to the left. Yeah. So you've got three biggies that make you swing left. Ball forward, handle back, extension, hips back. So we just want to neutralize that. Ball more neutral, handle more neutral. Backswing, and then downswing, getting the hips forward as the club works more from inside out. So I would just look at, when we're looking at this, guys, this line, if this was like a straight up line, the more back the hands are this way relative to here, the more we're going to go like pull, fade type of move. The more they go forward, now this is too far, but the more they go forward, this would like obviously feel like it's going to start the ball more to the right.
Yeah.
And we just want to have the shaft sit about straight up and down, right? Straight up and down.
Yeah, that looks like it's
going to feel a little
different.
Forward for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll show you on camera, that's going to look about normal. And let's move the ball back a little, so move you a little forward. There we go. So now from there, that's going to feel like the ball's back a touch, and it's going to feel like your hands are kind of forward a touch, right? But you're going to look remarkably normal, even though it's going to feel different.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks just like the model, right?
Yeah.
So when you guys are doing that, if you're changing your setup, if you have too many pulls to the left, the thing you don't want as a right-handed golfer is the ball too forward with the handle back. Now you want to get it like Rob has it here, or like the model will show, ball underneath the armpit, hands about neutral with that. So you're gonna feel like the ball's a smidge back, and yeah, dude, that looks awesome. Feels different, looks awesome. Go ahead and do one more. Okay. Now, is that your best shot of the day, or is it just me?
By far. We can just bottle that one up.
I was gonna say, well, rinse and repeat
good.
that over and over. Okay, so here's a, this was shown to me by my friend JT Thomas, awesome coach, good guy. This is like a nice little kind of pivot drill for you. And when you're watching this, if you want to feel what your body needs to feel like with your driver during the backswing, this is a really, really good way to do it. We put a club inside your right heel with the grip, ideally, I'm not even doing it right. We put a club inside your right heel with the grip forward, and then the club goes across your chest with the grip to the left. And what I'm trying to feel like as you're feeling your kind of head and chest to the right, I want to get this grip just past that grip on the ground from my point of view. Now, if I go too far up towards the sky, I start to see the grip way more forward and up this way. If I obviously am too far down towards the ground, I'm over-exaggerated a little. I want to get the grip just past that grip on the ground. It'll obviously be pointed outside the ball here quite a bit, but in terms of like where should my chest be, not forward, right? I'm not over-exaggerating, just a little bit behind it. Let me see you do that drill once or twice. And you're trying to get the grip on the top. Yeah, awesome. Stay a little taller as you do it. Good. Same thing. Grip past the grip on the ground. Yes. Two more. Good. A little taller. Good. Good. Nice. What does that feel like to you in your own words?
I feel like I'm really stretching back my right hip.
More in your right hip.
Yeah.
Same thing. Good. I feel like your upper body's maybe a little more behind it to the right.
Yeah.
Compared to up. Yeah, good. Okay, let's put the club in your hands. Let's get a good setup. Let's recreate that same feel. So the ball's more neutral. Excellent, dude. Head and chest behind it. Yeah, man. Hey, let me show you what that looks like. Really, really nice. I mean, that looks like a PGA Tour player, right?
Yeah.
You could pull it up on any given Sunday compared to where you would normally go. So there's kind of your picture.
Yeah.
Right? That's your top of where you normally are compared to where we want to feel. And look, these feels for Rob are because he's going too far this way. And if you have too much extension during your backswing, you probably have that club path to the left, pulls, hit too far down on it, probably too low. But you also might be watching, you might have this too far this way. And if you have your chest swaying too far to the right, you probably swing too far from inside, right? Pushes hooks too shallow. So the goal is to find a middle ground where your chest gets just behind your hips at the top. We'll show you a model like a Robert Rock. So you want to feel the opposite of your issue to find middle. For Rob, we're feeling more this way behind the ball to help him swing more from low and inside for less pulls. Awesome with the setup. Same feels you can hit when you're ready. Rob, give me something, bro.
That's about as good as I can hit it.
Yeah, that's like 3 in a row you pump literally right down the middle. I've got my setup, ball position handle. I've got my backswing, neutral. Now from here though, from a good spot, I could kind of swing good in transition, but my hips are rotating a lot and they're back. And the more they're back, the more this is gonna go out to in. Now the best players do have a bunch of hip rotation, right? So I don't wanna like decrease that. But as they rotate and they also go forward. So if we were to pull up, you know, a good driver of the ball, Rory will use the example, he rotates a lot, but he also goes forward. The deal here would be like, let's say your belt buckle with a driver started just behind the club. What I want to feel on the way down, we'll kind of preset the club kind of hip high-ish. I want to feel like my hips, as they rotate, are going to push forward of this line, and the club is going to feel like it's gently working a little bit kind of from in to out. So relative to this line in front, I'm going to feel like my belt buckle pushes forward of this club as the club head pushes to the right from my view of that alignment rod. Now my hips, Rob, don't just go forward like with no turn. And they also don't just turn with no forward, which is kind of what we do.
Yeah.
It's a blending of, let me push my belt buckle towards the target. You don't need rotation feels, you're gonna have them. You need to feel more of the forward as the club goes right. So I wanna do a couple like this with a drill, kind of parallel. Hips forward, club to the right. Hips forward, club to the right. Hips forward, club to the right. So we'll kind of just preset the club kind of parallel to the ground just to get a feel, kind of in here-ish, right? And loosen your grip pressure to about 5 out of 10, good. So now from here, your hips, as you're turning, are gonna feel like they're gonna push forward. So you might feel like you're pushing off the inside part of the right foot. And this club, as you're doing that, is gonna feel like it releases a little more in this territory.
Okay.
Compared to, oh, we'd probably be over here normally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. Now, these are both exaggerated a little bit. So we're pushing off the inside part of the right foot as the hips go forward and the club goes to the right. Really good. Give me a couple reps like that. Now, guys, this is really important. Like Rob, if we show him from down the line and face on, has a ton of hip rotation. He's got as much hip rotation as like anybody in the whole world, or at least like a average tour player. He doesn't have the forward part. So for him, he's got to feel a lot of push off the right foot, yes, and the hips going right, because for him, that's what he needs more of. If you have too much push forward and not enough rotation, you'll need to feel more of the rotation part. But for Rob, because his hips are back, if your hips are back and you like hit a lot of pulls and slices, you probably want to have more of the push off the right foot, get the hips forward. Let's show a good model on the screen. Great job, Rob. Push the hips forward as the arms like they're going a little out to the right. And the drill you want to do is just like this. We've got a club in line with the golf ball. The club's kind of parallelish to the ground. And as Rob's going to push off the right foot, the hips push forward and the club feels like it releases just to the right. So from when you're watching this from the down the line angle, if this is the target line from your view, it should kind of feel like they look like the club is to the right of it. It won't actually be, but that's kind of the feel, right? And the hips are pushed forward. So, you know, again, we're going to do a couple things with Rob here. We've got some setup, backswing, and downswing feels. But for you, if your hips are back and you hit pulls and fades, you want to feel the hips forward and the club to the right. And then it's like, well, how do I feel my hips forward? You push off the right foot. You push off the right foot and push the belt buckle up over the left ankle. The belt buckle, notice Rob when he finishes, the belt buckle is pointed towards the target. So he's still rotating. Push off the right foot, belt buckle up to the left ankle, club head to the right. Clubs here, grip pressure is pretty loose for this. I'm gonna feel the pushing off the right foot, hips push forward as they turn, club head to the right, hips push forward as they turn, club head to the right. And when we're practicing, do you mind if I butt one with this?
Yeah, go ahead.
And when you're practicing in the beginning, just to hit a couple in the beginning, just to get a feel, hips push forward, club head to the right, like I'm just bunting that ball. I hit that probably 80 yards. So just to get a feel, right? Now I'm gonna gradually start to go in some longer swings pretty quickly, but just for one or two, just to kind of bunt one out to get a feel. Okay, 2 little rehearsals and then we'll hit a ball. Okay, you dude, that is so good. In fact, sorry, Rob, let me just record you doing that for once so you could see, because that looks excellent. So see how now your hips are shifting forward.
Yeah, all over the front foot.
Yeah, compared to us being too far back.
Yeah.
Now, when you swing, you ain't gonna do that much. That's the point. It's like over-exaggerate with your feel.
Yeah.
And none of us, when we swing, do it as much as a practice swing. It's like really exaggerate that forward, and then we hopefully should find a middle ground. And it's like, what's the point of you pushing your hips forward? What's the point of this? Is to get the club a little more from inside to reduce the pull.
Okay.
Because we know the pull comes from the path being out to in with the hips back. So the only reason we're even doing this in the first place is to get the club a little more from inside, which will help us start it more neutral. Okay. Because I haven't seen you hit a ball yet, you are capable of. I haven't seen one start right at the 200 and draw back.
Yeah.
And this would be the piece that I believe will get that, if we want that.
Yeah.
Start a little right and curve back. Same feel with the hips pushing forward, club feeling a little to the right. Yeah, close. Now, like that ball flight there that you're hitting, those are launching a little more to the right versus left because the club path.
Yeah.
Because now you're swinging the hips forward, club path to the right. Now, when you're swinging and the ball, let's say normally your club path is to the left, 5 degrees, just making up a number. The more your club path goes to the left, the more the face needs to be open to get it back to the target.
Yeah.
Chicken or the egg. Maybe your face was open first, you swung left. Now, if you're swinging from inside, the face has to close a little
more.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of ways to do that. With your eye-hand coordination I'm seeing, I think we can do it however we want. I would simply, as you're swinging to the right, feel like you allow the toe to pass the heel a little bit. I don't think you need to crank it this way as much as even just like just a little bit of kind of normal rotation. Nothing crazy, just a little bit. Now, this normal rotation wouldn't work if you were swinging this way.
Yeah.
You'd pull hook it.
Yeah.
That's what you're used to. But we're not swinging that way anymore.
No.
So now with the club coming from inside, we can have just a normal amount of release there.
Okay.
And the proof will be in the ball flight.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, those balls started right, curved right, path was better, face was still open, so let's just allow a little bit of normal release with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you got to be able to match up your club path with your club face. Rob's old club path would be a little bit to the left, so he'd have the face more open. Now, he probably had the face open first and learned to swing to the left. You can go ahead and hit when you're ready, Rob. But as we swing from inside, so that's pretty damn close, yeah? So as we learn how to swing from inside, Rob's tough. He hits a 310 right down the right edge of the fairway, just nothing. As you learn to swing from inside, you got to feel the opposite, right? If the club path comes from inside, we got to learn how to close the face a little bit more. If the club path's from the outside, you got to kind of hold on to the face a little bit. So as you're neutralizing your path, whatever your side you're on, you usually got to change two things at once, right? If you change your club path, you got to change the club face with it. So for Rob, with our kind of follow through stuff, we have our good setup, balls a little more back handle forward, grip pressure a little lighter. As we start to come down, as the hips are pushing forward and clubs going to the right, instead of the face pointed up towards the sky, we want to have a little bit of rotation. And I would rotate it, Rob, to the point where like the toe is right on top of or slightly in front. So if we brought that back up here, this would be square. This would be closing it a little. So if we closed it a little, it would look like that. Now for you, that looks like a lot of closing.
Yeah.
Because you're used to it being more here.
Right.
But being more there would be like square to a little open.
Open. Exactly.
So if anything, we want to feel like we go that way a little through the ball. So ball position, awesome. Hips pushing forward, club to the right with a little face rotation. Yeah, so that was a good, so now we exaggerated one. Okay, we saw the ball curve a little bit to the left. But for us to be able to see, for us to get rid of the pull was kind of the first part of the lesson.
Yeah.
This is more of like if we want to start it to the right and curve it back. So now if we want to be able to kind of launch a ball to the right, if we want to launch a ball to the right of this, I want you to imagine relative to this kind of line, if this is our target line, I want you to imagine when you're going to hit that you're going to launch it kind of over here and bring it back. Now this is the exaggeration.
Right.
I think when you leave here today, we hit the straight ball.
Yeah.
This is just, hey, this is what the exaggerated of the opposite would be.
Okay.
As the hips are pushing forward, it's like I'm going to launch it here and allow it to release back. Yeah, excellent job, dude. Rob, you better say something right now, dude.
That is starting right and falling left right down the middle.
Hammered. So that ball flight is like, that was crushed. That was good. So that's like Rory high draw down the middle.
Yeah.
So let's do that rehearsal again. So we are getting the club path working a little more to the right and having the hips go a little more forward as we do it. So hips push forward, club goes to the right, and just a little bit of normal rotation. So when you guys are feeling it, the amount of rotation I'm showing Rob, if you pull it back up, is the toe ever so slightly in front of the heel, which is just a normal amount of rotation through the ball, right? But when we're doing it, if we're going to a push draw, our issue is a pull. So you got a start line there, your issue starts over here. You want to imagine like you're kind of shooting a gun, like a target, your scope is pointed over here. So it launches a little more right and then curves a little more back. Just like that last one was money. So ball position neutral, handle neutral. Awesome. Hips pushing forward. Yeah, dude. Beautiful. God, is that good. All right, guys, if you're interested in a winter golf school, we just made the dates live down in Boca Raton in South Florida. We're partnering with our good friends at the Don Law Golf Academy. I've personally hand-selected some of the best coaches in the world to be there along with me to give you a 2-day event that I want you to never forget. I want you to have a transformational event for your golf game. I want you to have a blast. I want to hang out and spend some time together. We're going to work on your game in the morning. We're going to go play in the afternoon. Plus, you're going to get access to everything we have on the website, You're gonna get 90 days of coaching afterwards. We wanna give you a plan to ideally cut your handicap in half, right? To really make a difference in your game. I'd love to have you there. We had a great time at Woodstone in September. We're gonna have a great time this winter. We'll put a link in the description down below. It'll be the first link. Click on that, check out the details, send us a message with any questions you have. Look forward to seeing some of you there. If you wanna watch more like this, check out this video next.